we have seen how setting boundaries have helped to change our relationship and have also helped to decrease the unnecessary tensions, the unnecessary arguments we could have had in our marriage because these boundaries were established as early as possible. What up, fam? Welcome back to another one. How are you feeling, babe?
I'm feeling good. Very good.
All right, man. We are here today and we are going to be diving into something deep, something that has honestly been a game changer for us, a game changer for our marriage.
Hmm.
Boundaries. How do you feel about boundaries?
Boundaries are good.
Boundaries are good.
Boundaries are good.
Sometimes you talk about boundaries, people think that you're talking about the controlling type or control, but we're not talking about the controlling type. We are talking about the kind of boundaries that helps to bring forth respect and peace within the marriage,
Hmm.
prosperity within the marriage,
Yeah.
right? What are healthy boundaries, babe? What are boundaries? Can you help me flesh this out today? What are boundaries?
Well, when I think about boundaries, I what comes to mind
Mm-hmm.
is setting up rules
Mm-hmm.
in place. Sorry, setting up rules in place in order to foster growth and mutual benefit in any given relationship.
Right.
That's what comes to me when I think about
Right.
boundaries.
So when we talk about boundaries, we're talking about those physical, the spiritual, the mental, and social limits you set for yourself to define what behaviors you accept, right? And what behaviors you don't accept or expect from your partner. And I think that setting those boundaries early is the best way to go. What do you think about that?
Yeah, you have to establish your boundaries earlier on in the relationship so that later on in the
Mm-hmm.
relationship, the person is not caught off guard when you remind them or when you say to them, hey, this is not something I am fond of or that I like.
Right,
Hmm.
right. And for ourselves, we have seen how setting boundaries have helped to change our relationship and have also helped to decrease, the amount of tensions, the unnecessary tensions, the unnecessary arguments we could have had in our marriage, but because these boundaries were established as early as possible, as we possibly could, we were having those conversations and we were talking about those boundaries. We were talking about the likes, the dislikes, the things that, you know, that might rub us the wrong way
Hmm.
and what we expect from our partners. And we have seen how those expectations that we have of ourselves and of course our partners, because we do believe in reciprocity,
Hmm.
and whatever we expect for ourselves from our partner, we ensure that we give them back that in return.
Hmm.
But those boundaries have helped us throughout our marriage. Can you remember one boundary that we didn't set in our marriage and how it affected us? And how has it been since we have established that particular boundary?
Are you talking about the time issue?
Well, anyone.
Okay.
Think about anyone that you can think of that it wasn't there before. Because sometimes you tend to miss, not everything is said and not every boundaries are established. But for the most part, as you talk about boundaries, the things that you can think about, you ensure that you bring them forward. You know.
Mhm.
So what is one boundary that you can think about that we didn't set for a relationship, but it affected us in the way where it created an argument in our relationship?
I I can't think of anything in particular. You're asking what were the boundaries that were not set.
Right.
Yeah. So what are
So,
those?
well, one is makeup.
Oh, makeup. Hmm.
Mhm. You want to talk about it?
Oh, so guys, we had this conversation once. So my husband, I don't know, we were going to the gym or what.
I
We
think we
were
were going to the
some
gym.
appointment, right?
Yeah.
We're going to some appointment. I believe it was a gym. I believe it was a gym. And was it? Yeah, it was a gym. So I have this thing every now and then. I'd like to like, do a little mascara. I like to do a little blush. No, we were not just going to the gym. We had different other business to take care of.
Yeah.
And I
I think we
wanted
did.
to, yeah. So we had other business to take care of. And because I was gonna already be in my gym gear, I wanted to, do something a little extra. So I put on mascara and eyeliner and some blush, right? Because we're gonna take care of business and we're gonna go to the gym.
Mm.
My husband put on a piece of massive bawling and hugging, Boho say. Boho say me, that's the thing with you women and this, and I don't understand why you got to wear makeup to the gym and all that stuff. But granted, in my mind, me I put on this makeup because we have other business to take care of, and I don't want to look like this sweaty, sloppy person just slobbering from the gym, or I wanted to look presentable, right? So me I put in a little extra work, and he said that he didn't like it and all this stuff. And an argument almost started becoming it's not
Almost
a
are it did.
yes, an argument erupted.
Mm.
And I remember composing myself and realizing I asked myself the question, Ebony, what is the problem here? Your man is not telling you that he doesn't like for you to look good when you go to the gym or to go do business. He's telling you that there's a time management issue, even though he has not communicated that. So me catch that real fast. And I said to him, your issue is not with my makeup. Your issue is with my time management. What you mean to communicate is the makeup thing
That
is
took too much
causing us
time.
to be late. But
Mm.
I realized I caught where the conversation was going
Right.
and where it could have gone if I took it personally. And I said, okay, your issue is with time.
Right.
You don't have a problem with me getting dolled up and putting myself
No.
together well. You have an issue with the time.
Yeah.
Hence, the conclusion is do what you got to do ahead of time so that we meet our appointments on
Right.
time.
Right. And that was the conclusion. That was the boundary
Yes.
that was established.
And then my nighttime routine. I remember you said something about that one time.
Yes, and that was an issue too, because
Yeah.
you used to take a really long time to
get to bed.
and I would be there and I'm saying, man, what is this girl doing inside the bathroom so long? But what were you doing anyway?
I was either moisturizing my hair, putting on like
oil, putting
oils
on
and stuff
this
like
and
that.
putting on that. And I'm saying, man,
Yeah,
we're
and
just
then
gonna sleep.
I remember you said it so nicely. You were so sweet about it. You said, I think this is going to be a problem if this does not stop, you know, with you spending so much time in the bathroom. If this doesn't stop, I see it going on and continuing into our marriage. And that shook me up. I'm like, no, I don't want this to be a
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
And I have not been perfect because there are some nights where it took me longer to get out of the bathroom. But yeah,
Yeah, but I find
the approach was beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
But I find that, for me sometimes, in an effort to not get upset, I either try to get ready after you, or like bed, if you notice me going to bed, I always try to take my shower after you. So I have you, I said, okay, go shower. Or
Oh God, help
there are
me.
moments when I just want a little me time,
Mm-hmm.
and I say, okay, she's not going to get done inside this bathroom for now. I want a little me time. So let me just head on in, shower,
Mm-hmm.
go relax a little bit until she gets to bed. So, I play around with it.
Yeah.
There are times when I said, okay, I just want to get in bed and be with my wife.
Mm-hmm.
So I say, hey, go shower. But another thing that I can remember too was whenever we would have disagreements, and as I talk about, as I made mention before, we set a number of boundaries. And it's not, as you said, it wasn't like a sit down, hey, we need to have a meeting. It was more so as we communicated with each other before we were married, after we were married, we established boundaries, So we would talk about the things, hey, when we communicate, let's not do defensive listening. You remember
Yes.
that was
Yes.
one that I
That you introduced me to.
right.
Yes.
And oftentimes I realize that as a partner, instead of listening, instead of hearing, how should I say this? Because if you're listening to defend, it's not listening,
No.
you know. So
Hearing to defend. Oh,
instead
well,
of
listening,
right,
because then you're picking apart the parts that you
yeah,
want to actually.
right, and you make it seems as though it's an attack on you without even hearing what your partner is saying.
Got it. So it's actually selective listening.
Selective listening.
Yes.
Right. Selective listening, defensive listening, I
Yes.
guess.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was an issue where I felt like you weren't hearing my side of the story.
Mhm.
You weren't empathizing with me. You couldn't put yourself in my shoes and understand what my problem was. And for me, that was an issue, you know. But again, what's the book? What Makes Marriage Work?
Yeah.
That particular book have been helping me so much.
It
And I
has
want to
been.
encourage you guys, if you are interested about growing as an individual, to become the best version of yourself, for God, for your partner, that's a good book. What Makes Marriage Work? Think we need to start putting those links in so that people can
Yeah.
click on those links and get those books. But that was one book that really helped me, and that's where I learned about defensive listening.
Mm-hmm.
And I spoke to you about it. And after our
Yeah.
our disagreements, because I don't think we have argument. We're not cuss
Yeah.
and go on like say we're mad and
Yeah.
yeah,
It's more like,
it's more like two people having it would be more like a debate.
yes.
Yeah,
It
it
always feels
sounds
like a heated
yeah,
debate.
it sounds like a heated debate, but it's not arguing,
Yeah.
it's not cussing,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and I do appreciate that about our marriage.
Yeah. Why
Yeah.
does this feel like that other video we have planned?
Which one?
6 months. We've been married for this
Oh
month.
no, 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 no,
It's
no.
just giving me that vibe. So I'm like, okay, let's get back to the boundaries.
This is completely different. But
Okay.
but that one is going to be pretty interesting.
Guys, stay tuned for that one.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
one is going to be pretty.
What have we
interesting.
learned about each other? We've been married for this much time, 6 months
6 months.
plus 6 plus months. What have we learned about each other?
Yeah.
So, babe, we've said a lot so far.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we've said a lot so far, and I had to get my notes. The physical boundaries,
Right.
the spiritual boundaries, the intimate boundaries, and not to mention, you know how passionate I've been for the past couple of days about the social boundaries,
Social
not
media
the
boundaries.
social boundaries, social with a social or social
Mhm.
media or digital. Those are digital boundaries,
Digital boundaries.
right? Because social media and the digital space does not allow for any form of space, in my opinion, because we're all so closely connected
Right.
via a Wi-Fi connection. So the external, the internal, the personal boundaries, the intimate boundaries, the one we share with our partners, and the social, how we interact with others, and the digital boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Well, the personal boundaries that you set for yourselves are those boundaries that we would have established earlier when we
Mm-hmm.
gave the definition of boundaries. And I just want to get this out there. There are a lot of people think that your partner having boundaries is somewhat them being controlling.
Absolutely
It's
not.
nonsensical.
Mm-mm.
You know, if you have morals and values as an individual, you talk about the personal boundaries. If you have morals, you have values, you standards that you set for yourself, they automatically become your boundaries. When you meet someone, you communicate those expectations. Hey, this is who I am. These are the things that I expect from my partner. Those are the boundaries you set.
Mm-hmm.
This is how far I'm willing to go.
That's right.
And you communicate that. The onus is now on the individual to say that, hey, you know what, I cannot subscribe to this. Just like when we watch Pop the Balloon, people go on Pop the Balloon and they said that they're looking for a God fearing man or a spiritual woman.
Mm-hmm.
That's their personal boundaries that they have set for themselves. It means that their limit is a spiritual woman or a God-fearing man and no more. So boundaries are important, and those boundaries are formed from your character, who you are as a person.
Hmm. And another thing, a person does not have to agree with your boundaries. Do you agree?
Of course, they,
Right?
they don't have
So,
to.
so
Okay.
remember the situation with the perfume. That is a boundary that I have established for myself,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm setting that boundary with you
Right.
because should you want to get me something, I want to ensure that it is nothing that you've gotten before.
Mm.
And that doesn't, you can agree with it, you think it's stupid, you think it's nonsensical, but that is my boundary.
Right.
Because in my mind, I want to create something new, something memorable with you because you're special to me. You see what I'm saying?
That's good.
So that's a boundary. That's a boundary.
That's a good
And
boundary.
people don't always have to agree with your boundary, but your boundaries are your boundaries. They
Mm-hmm.
protect you. It protects you, whether physically, emotionally, spiritually.
Protects your peace
It
as well,
protects your
and it
peace.
helps to have peace in the relationship
Yeah,
because you're basically trying to establish an understanding. Hey,
that's it.
this is what works for me. If you do this, it's gonna tip me the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
So don't do it. And as you said, people don't have to agree, but it's good for you. It's very, very vital
Mm-hmm.
for you to establish those boundaries from the
Earlier on.
get-go. You know, and that's how I've always lived my life. Whenever I'm going to take somebody serious, I always ensure that the first thing I do is establish those boundaries. Hey, these are my expectations. If you cannot, if you cannot subscribe to them, I understand. I'm no pressure. I'm sure you have yours.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me yours, and I'll know if I can subscribe. And if I can't, let's move on.
Yeah.
But one thing I want, as you talk about the social boundaries,
Digital or social? Oh, social.
the social
We soon
boundaries.
get to the digital.
Like, for example, even when we go to the gym,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you're a very attractive and beautiful woman.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and of course, there are guys who are going to be attracted to you. There are women who see me and, it's the same. But
Mm-hmm.
one thing I practice whenever I'm inside the gym and I see a woman looking at me, I immediately lower my gaze, or I turn my head away. I'm not going to do a eye staring contest with anybody, whether you are there or not. I would never create an atmosphere where another woman feels like she can definitely get me,
Mm-hmm.
despite the fact that I'm married.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not that kind of guy. So I don't even want to see a girl looking at me, and I know what it is. I know what's up. So immediately when I see that, I either look down, lower my gaze, or I turn my head away. And that's a clear indication to that person that, hey, he's taken, he's not for sale, and he's not going to compromise.
You know what it should say?
Hmm.
He's taken, he's not for sale, he's not going to compromise. He's not interested.
He's not
You
interested.
know?
Simple.
Because it's like, when you say he's taken, he's not for sale,
Hmm.
those will seem like, like when a guy come up to a girl and say, hey shawty, what's up? And she's like, yeah, I'm good. What you want? What? And then he's like, can I get your number? She's like, I got a boyfriend. Girl, don't tell, like, it doesn't matter. Say no.
Right.
You shouldn't even entertain that.
But
So, so,
right.
so
So
from the
you would
get
have
go, I
opened the
am
door.
uninterested. Period.
Right.
Not,
Right.
I'm not available. I'm not. Who cares if you're not available? Are you
Mhm.
interested or not?
Yeah.
You're not interested. That should be your first answer. Me, it's the same.
Right.
Me not de a gym a look for nobody.
Yeah.
If you catch me looking at somebody, my one eye gone, so one eye gone. So it's like I literally just face out. Or
Yeah, Cassie. I don't know Cassie. That a party. Yeah, because Cassie. So so that a party.
No, so like when you see me at the gym, even if I'm directly looking at somebody,
Mm.
I'm usually either going like this, and if you know me, you know what this means. I'm either doing this, or I'm literally not even seeing the person.
Mhm.
But if I'm walking through, I don't even look at people. I've trained myself to even see people that are in front of me
Mhm.
as though they're in my periphery. And that is so crazy. Like, and also nearsighted, terribly
Yeah, I
nearsighted,
know that for
right?
sure.
I have a
I know
friend,
that for
my
sure.
friend Maria. I will be at the gym and I do not like, I will not see Maria. So now I remember one time you said you saw her and I didn't see her.
Yeah, you're
And I
really
felt really
nearsighted.
bad. I felt really bad. So every time I go to the gym now, if I see a girl with like like shoulder length hair, brunette, I'm looking out. Well, not brunette, you know, but like with brown hair, I'm looking out because I don't want to seem like I'm shady or fake
Right,
because I
right.
don't wear my glasses to the gym. But really, I don't look at guys. I'm not interested. Me no want no man. My mother always said this. Mommy
Mhm.
always said, me don't know if you hear her say it. She said, no man a road supposed to laugh after my man.
Yeah. And
Right?
it's the
You know
same.
why? Because I'm not going to entertain them.
Right.
But them now will come to me and have a whole 2 sentence, 2 paragraph conversation, and then at the end of it, here, oh, I'm taking, I have a boyfriend.
Yeah.
No, I am not
Yeah,
interested in the
because
conversation from the get go.
right.
Period.
Because you have to understand and talk about the whole male and female best friend
Mm-hmm.
and people there are some people who subscribe to this boundary of trust. Male and female best friend is not about trust. It's not a trust issue. It is understanding the reality of life. It is understanding that you are a fallible human being. You are not perfect. And if you put yourself in certain situations,
Mm.
you can, even without knowing, literally open the door up for other things to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So when people talk about, oh, you don't trust me or he's insecure or it's not about insecurity and trust. It's about understanding and knowing the reality of life.
Yeah.
And understand that if you put yourself in, like I said this on the podcast before, that I would never say look at you and say, babe, I will never cheat on you. I'm not going to do that because I know that my strength comes from God, right? What I can say is that I would never put myself in the position to fall or to cheat on you. And by so doing, I take the necessary steps to ensure that I never find myself in those places, the digital spaces, or anything of the sort that can lead me into temptation. You understand? So it's not about trust when you talk about the male and female best friend. It's about understanding the reality, understanding that, listen, I'm a male, I'm attractive to the opposite sex. You are a female, you are attractive to the opposite sex. And it's a possibility. The probability of you falling into something with that male or female best friend is very high. And even if you don't want to do anything, best believe that he wants to do something for sure, 100. And there have been cases where the guy's saying straight, hey, I'm not interested at all. But the girl wants to do something, you know? So it's a setup, and that's something that I wouldn't subscribe to.
And on the topic of digital boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people subscribe to the open relationship concept and
Mm.
idea. Not something we subscribe to, but you have to really, for digital boundaries, you really have to create a solid, unquestionable line.
Mm-hmm.
This morning, I was sharing with you the difference with a compliment
Right.
and a flirtatious
Oh,
comment,
yeah, yeah, you did. You did.
right? Compliment would be, you did so well today, right? And this, as I said, this is digital world. We communicate with people, we comment under, videos, we message people. One example of a comment, of a compliment would be, wow, you did very well today in that meeting. Another comment that on the flip side, a flirtatious comment would be, damn, your voice is so melodious. I could listen to you all day. You killed it in that meeting. You see the two difference? The
I,
difference?
I
One is
see.
saying, hey, you did a great job. Kudos to you. And it could be from the opposite sex,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then the other one is saying, hey, I saw what you did. Like, I'm interested in that, but I'm also interested
Yeah.
in more, you know? And a lot of that goes on in the digital
Digital stuff.
world.
Yeah.
So whereas, you keep the face where I'm married, I'm this and I'm that. You have to also keep your tone in the digital space
Mm-hmm.
or even when communicating with people so they know that, hey, I'm not available, not even a little bit,
Yeah.
not even a little bit. And I'm
And
not even going to send that
mhm.
signal to you that I'm available
Right.
in any way.
The only woman that should be getting certain type of compliments from me is my wife. It's you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, no other woman.
Because, and you know, I just, the thought just came to me.
Mm-hmm.
I have set up such a fortress digitally, physically,
Mm-hmm.
emotionally
Yes.
that no guy can come to me and cross it, not even enter my messages.
Right.
And I try wink and I try kissy face and I try nothing. Like that's just the type of person I
Oh
am.
my God. Is it
Like
a wink, my
like
member? So,
maybe guys are just more respectful, and I don't know that to be the case. You know, because some man just love cross it, even if they know it's enough to cross it. But I do not make myself available in that way for any man, any guy to feel like yo he can slide in my DMs or he can wink at me. I'm not giving you that energy. Because some people give off the yes, I'm available on the download kind of vibe.
okay, that's the one.
No,
That's the one. That's the one.
no. That
That's
is
the
a
one.
boundary that you should set up in your relationship and not
Mm-hmm.
just when your partner is around. A guy shouldn't see me out there and be like, yo, me know say me can't get that easy, you know,
Yeah.
because she me know say she have a man, but me know say me can't, you know? And a girl or a woman shouldn't be
Yeah.
able to be like, yo, all I
Especially
need to do is shake my booty. He's over here. Like
yeah.
and
Or
also,
even those gym girls where
yeah,
them
yeah, yeah.
wear certain
Yeah, yeah,
clothes
yeah.
from a gym and them decide
Honestly,
that yeah
gym girls
workout.
are different. Different, like it's a
Uh,
different thing.
they're beside you working out and they're doing everything. They're doing everything to say,
To get
hey,
your
hey,
attention, I'm
pick me,
here, I'm here.
pick me. Like
Like in
I
other
don't
words, we're
care.
saying that you should have such a boundary
Yeah.
for yourself, even absent your partner, so much so that people know that no, I'm not going to cross it.
Right.
And people should see that coming from you both, so that when they see you, when a nice looking girl sees your husband, right, you look so damn good, she said, damn, can't even cross it. And a man should look at you and then look straight, not even look on you, look on your man and say, yo, she saw, thought me not even gonna cross that. And not only that, because your partner looks good next to you, but because your partner is not sending them that I'm available on the download signal.
Yeah.
That is a boundary. And I think it's an invisible boundary that needs to be established in many relationships.
Vividly.
It needs to
Vividly.
be clear.
Yes.
It needs to
Vividly.
be clear.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have that, unless you have an open relationship, if you're not established that, you're in a problem.
Yeah.
No man not supposed to laugh after my man I road. You
Yeah.
must be mad.
Yeah.
Which a part,
People should people should know from the get go that it's not going to work. And
right?
there's a lot of boundaries that people subscribe to, and one of them that I told you this from the get go. I said I do not believe in privacy in marriage.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot fathom how is it that you are married to your partner who you are supposed to become one with, and then their privacy, you know, their privacy when it comes to the bank accounts, privacy when it comes to the cell phones, when it comes to the social media. Me not depend that. No Rasta,
I,
not in my
Not
cabinet.
in my care. And
You
you know,
understand?
it's and because you as you have established, we are fallible human beings,
Mm-hmm.
right? Not that you're on that wavelength to be messing around, and not
Right.
that I'm on that wavelength to be
Right.
messing around. But when you have an accountability partner,
Mm-hmm.
somebody who is going to be like, "Yo, keep it on the up and up," and you're gonna be like, "Keep it on the up and up" for them. You are going to be a little. I believe that your chances of success and remaining above board are higher
It's very high.
because you're doing it first of all, you're doing it for yourself because you have standards by yourself alone.
Right.
And then also have that accountability partner to ensure that you stay on that path, you know, of faithfulness, not just to your partner, but to yourself. I'm not going to cheat myself
Right.
because you're not cheating on that person, you're cheating yourself. Because guess what? The risk of you losing that relationship and losing the assets that you've built together and losing your mind and getting an SDD and all that stuff and creating drama in the digital space is you cheating yourself. The
Right.
person, not you, but the person cheating themselves. So when you think about it in that way and you have an accountability partner, you make it, you're setting up yourself for success. The book Atomic Habits
Mm-hmm.
stresses the importance of creating an environment to succeed. And I believe that when we eliminate that level of secrecy,
Mm-hmm.
we create an environment, as the book says, where we can actually thrive and stay on the straight and
Right.
narrow and remain faithful.
Right. Right. Privacy within marriage. When I talk about your little dating relationship. And I mean, you practice what you preach.
That's
You
true.
know, so if you find the suitable partner, because I'm not talking about you finding someone and you're not certain if it's going to work. I'm talking about you find this person that truly takes your breath away. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like when I met you, and I just knew that this is the woman that I want to establish my life with forever. When you find that person from the relationship stage, there are certain boundaries that should be
Cut
practiced.
off certain
You
people.
know,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there are certain boundaries that should be practiced, because if you wait until you get married to start practicing these boundaries, it's going to create a lot of problems in the
Mm-hmm.
marriage. But especially within marital relationships, the idea of privacy for me is completely nonsensical. It makes no sense. And as you rightfully talk about the atmosphere it creates an atmosphere of insecurities, see, right? When you are open to your partner and something that we have established, a
Mm-hmm.
boundary that we have set for a marriage, it eliminates so much doubts, insecurities, and so much more. When you have a partner that knows that at any given moment they can just pick up your cell phone, and not that they're searching your cell phone, but when you know that you can just pick up your partner phone and just enter it, and if you're searching for something, you can just go and search, it creates a sense of comfort, peace, and tranquility in the marriage. You
Mm-hmm.
know, if I take up my partner phone and when me look things code up, or in the cases what some partners do is that they will give their partner the code, but they will change it at another time. That to me is a huge red flag. If you share your part, because I'm not saying that we shouldn't have codes on our phone, because we do have codes on our
Yeah.
phone, and that code is to protect us from the outside world, but we know our password. And at any given time, if the password is going to change, it is communicated,
Yes.
right? It is
Mm-hmm.
it is communicated. Hey, I'm going to change this password because X, Y, and Z, and the password is changed and it's given at the same time. We don't search each other's phone, but this creates a level of transparency within our marriage, and that level of transparency has truly help us to thrive, and to be more trusting towards each other. And as I said, it helps to eliminate doubt. So the whole idea of privacy in the marriage, I think that's a marriage killer. Talking about marriage killer, privacy in relationships is definitely a marriage killer.
Mm-hmm.
But that's something that we don't subscribe to, and it has helped our marriage significantly to grow and thrive.
Yes. I have a question though.
Mhm.
We've talked a little bit about boundaries,
Right.
right? What are the effects of familiarity on boundaries?
Familiarity, and you would be speaking in the sense of um,
Me and you, like we're married,
mhm,
how do we maintain our boundaries given the fact that we're so familiar and we're so qualms and we're so, how do we
mhm.
make, how do you do that
I
when
think
there's so much
right.
familiarity?
I think that we would have covered that when we spoke about personal boundaries and our expectations. Because even though we are husband and wife, we function as one, but we are two separate individuals just the same. And when you talk about familiarity, not because you're my wife, it doesn't mean that I'm going to do certain things around you. Like,
Mhm.
I almost never fart around
No,
you,
I know.
you know, because, and again, is it a bad thing if you fart around your partner? No, it's not. I think there was a scientific study that I heard of that says that fart
With the memory?
increases your memory.
Oh
So
my
I
gosh.
don't know, you know, but there are certain things that I wouldn't do,
Mm-hmm.
not because you're my wife. And that comes from understanding you as my partner, understanding your likes, your dislikes,
Mm-hmm.
and so forth and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I have a question for you.
Yes.
If you could give me two words to, if you could give me two words that have helped our marriage, what would those two words be?
Oh, two words.
Mhm.
Two words that has two
Yes,
words
that
that
we
have
can
helped
also
our
tie into
marriage.
boundaries. If I,
I would say two words:
mhm.
attentiveness
Mhm.
and patience.
Why attentiveness and patience?
Because we do a lot of communicating,
Mhm.
right?
We do.
And being able to be attentive to your partner and what they're saying is a part of active listening.
Mhm.
So that has really helped. We're not perfect at it. We do get defensive
Yeah,
sometimes,
you do.
but
So it's a learning
attentiveness.
process.
And then the other one, what did I say? Patience.
Patience. Yeah.
Patience. Um, I gave you this example once. We had this argument about something, and you were thinking super logically. You're supercharged on logic, and you believe I was supercharged on emotion. I
Mhm.
think I was balanced. It wasn't just emotion, and you were sharing your thoughts, and you were giving your case, and your case was complete and whole, and you were saying your case from A to Z. I was saying my case from A to Z, and I kept on saying my case, right?
Mhm.
And I realized that you know your case. Whatever you're arguing, you know your case.
Right.
I know my case. What's missing here is that I need to take your file and study your case so I can actually understand it. And you need to take
Right.
my file
Right.
and study my case so you can completely understand it.
Right.
Because we're standing on the opposite sides of the table. And what I may be seeing a shadow from my side, but all you're seeing is light. So, us being patient with each other,
Mhm.
being willing to listen to one another and being patient enough to process it so that we can come back to an equilibrium. So those are the two words I would use.
For me, it would be transparency and reflectiveness.
Beautiful.
And why I say transparency is that when you are with someone who is transparent, as I said, it helps to eliminate a lot of doubts. And for both of us who understand the importance of trust in marriage, we know that if there is no trust, there is no marriage. So, being with someone who is transparent and open, and of course, once that is reciprocated, you know, it creates such a wonderful atmosphere and openness and a space where you truly get to see your partner for who they are, you know. And I think that's a beautiful thing and has been a beautiful thing in our marriage. Reflectiveness, why I like, not even like, why I love reflectiveness so much, or when you talk about reflective practice, I always believe that any individual who practice reflective practice or who does reflective practice are individuals who have the willingness to grow, develop, mature, and become better versions of themselves. If you're with someone or if your partner practices reflectiveness, you can almost be certain that whatever challenges that arise, once they are able to see their shortcomings through reflective practice, then it is almost the reality that they will make efforts to change and to grow and to develop, you know. And you want someone who is accountable. Especially for men, I think one of the biggest things that men suffers from is having a partner who lacks accountability. And I'm sure if the woman has a man who lacks accountability, that's going to be a difficult relationship. But if both people practice reflectiveness, where they can reflect on whatever disagreements or something that you did and take accountability and grow and develop, that's also a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I overall believe that these boundaries that we have set for a relationship, when we talk about the whole idea of no privacy, transparency, no friends of the opposite sex, a lot of these boundaries have helped our marriage to really thrive and develop, and the 6 months we have been together, given the odds that are stacked against us, 90%,
Yeah.
you know, I think that we are doing very well.
Mm.
I think that we are doing very well. And I just look forward to spending the rest of my life with you. You know, I'm happy. I am at peace. I've never been so at peace in my life until I met you, until we actually got married. Not even met, but the day I got married to you, like I told you this when we talk about our love story. Go, guys, go check out our love story.
Yes, it's beautiful.
I told you this, that before I got married to you, I never value life the way some people did. And it's not that I see life as something fragile. It's just that I'm not interested in this world and what it has to offer. So for me, it's like, hey, I'm here, but whenever death comes knocking at my door, I'm ready.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to avoid it. I'm not trying to run away from it. And there is nothing magical that I want to accomplish. I'm here. I'm going to do the best I can to thrive, to develop, to progress, and all of these things. But I'm not at that place where I used to say, "Oh, I want to own this, and I want to get that, and I want the big house on the hill." Like, hey, if it doesn't come, I'm cool too. It doesn't mean that I'm sitting down being lazy. It just means that I understand who I am. I understand my capabilities, and if there are certain things that are not fitting in the puzzle, I'm not going to beat myself up over it. But I remember before, I was just not interested in life. But then when we got married, I found myself wanting to live for you. And I always tell myself that, hey, if I'm going to die, I want to die leaving you in a far better position than what you're in now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
It's beautiful. Thank you, babe.
you're welcome.
I have a few other points. We've touched on everything, how
Mm-hmm.
to healthy boundaries in the age of social media, conduct, how it either expresses boundaries or it
Mm-hmm.
lowers boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
right? We've spoken about that. Who you keep in contact with while in a relationship or in marriage is a boundary. Um, and who you take advice from, where you go, where you don't go.
Another one is never going to bed angry.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that we practice. How realistic do you think that is? Like
Mm.
throughout your entire life, throughout your entire marriage, do you think that? I don't think it's realistic not to go to bed angry. I think it's more so realistic to not go to bed without having a conversation.
It's only one night that's ever happened, really.
Have we gone to bed angry?
Not
No, I mean,
angry,
I've
but
gone to bed
me
angry,
bex and you bex. But
but
when
with
me bex, you can't hug me up. And when you bex, me hug
yeah,
you
me
up.
no business if you want to vex. As me going to bed, my hands around you. And that's just how we operate. Even but one night, man,
One
one
night, you
night,
did over there, so I did over there.
it was the worst sleep of my night.
It was terrible.
It was a horrible sleep. I didn't sleep. You and your partner non talk throughout the night. What would it vex over again?
Me not even remember.
It
I
was
mean, not even want to rehash it, whatever it was.
yeah, it was just I never nothing serious either,
Yeah.
but it's just something where rub me the wrong way. I decided to say, all right, I'm not chat to her. I'm
Yeah.
just gone. I'm a bed. I'm gonna
And,
sleep
and
on
then
top
that
of my
thing,
buff.
so this is the other thing I wrote down when I was thinking about this topic.
Babe, sorry. But before we touch on that,
Mhm.
I just wanted to say that it's always best to have a conversation with your partner whenever there are disagreements before you go to bed.
Yeah.
It's always best. And that is something that we practice. I would say 99% of the time.
99.
99% of the time,
And you
we
have,
always try to talk before we go to bed. It doesn't mean that we don't go to bed angry or go to bed vexed or upset with each other, but we always communicate, talk, and me I go hug you up, and you hug me up too.
yeah, it's either me Bex and he hug me up, or him Bex and me hug him up.
Yeah,
And if it really bad,
we
we
gonna
Bex and we
talk.
not talk and we don't sleep the whole night, or we
But
stay
that
up the whole
happened
night
one
talking
time.
about it.
We stay up the whole night talking
Whole night
about it
talking about
because
it, and it
we
ruins our next the following day. We're dead tired, but we know that we've resolved
we
the
have
issue.
resolved the issue. Yes,
So
because there have been times when 1 o'clock we have conversation.
right,
But
still I have
yeah,
conversation.
yeah,
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 but that
yeah.
so what actions? This is my question that I wrote down. The last question I wrote down. What actions in the relationship break down the hedges? The hedges are the spiritual word for boundaries,
Mhm.
and make the relationship vulnerable to attack, and not just attack, but also defeat. What are some things that we do in our relationship, or that people do in their relationship, that causes the boundaries and the barriers and the hedges to go down so low that it exposes the relationship to attack and also defeat? I know we addressed a lot of them, but what are
Yeah.
some of those things?
Americans use this term stand on business, and it simply means that if you make a commitment to something, you stick to that commitment.
Yeah.
If like we establish within our relationship, whenever we have arguments, no name calling.
Yeah.
And that's something that we stick to. That's something that we're committed to. And throughout the 6 months, not once have we had a disagreement where we call names. It's like it's almost non-existent. It doesn't exist, not even in the back of our mind, at least not in the back of my mind.
No, not in my mind.
So you have to be committed to the boundaries you set. And the only way you can be committed is if you are committed to the relationship, to the marriage, to your partner. If you value what you have, what you share, you value your partner, then you will be committed and stick to the boundaries. If you don't stick to them, and remember, marriage is not about you, it's not about me, it's about us.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody are gonna say it's easier said than done. Well, if you put it in practice, it will become a reality.
Yep.
It's just like the sinful nature and the spiritual flesh. The sinful flesh, the spiritual flesh. You're born in sin and shaped in iniquity. Your natural nature is to cling towards that which is evil. However, by accepting Jesus Christ and feeding the spiritual man, then the spiritual man grows. Relationship is kind of like that. You have a lot of things that is about you, it's about self. But when you're married to somebody, it's not about me anymore, it's about us. So you have to practice those things consistently.
Yes.
And if you stay committed to them, then they will work. But if you don't value what you have, everything is about me, I want to get my point across, I'm not going to listen to what you have to say because you are wrong and you are this. And a lot of times, disagreements is not about who is wrong and who is right. Or, it's about what is the problem. As you gave an example of that, what is the problem? And you attack the problem together, you know. But you have to practice that. And if you don't, as I said, if you don't value what you share, if you don't value your partner, then you're not going to be committed to those boundaries and you're going to fail. But it's always good to start small,
Yeah.
communicate clearly. People talk about marriage sometimes and they talk about, oh, communication is key. Communication is just one of the keys, I would say. Communication is one of those keys. There's another thing called compromise. You have to learn to compromise.
And comprehend. You
Yeah.
can talk and talk and talk.
And you're
If the
not
person you're
understanding.
speaking to is not understanding you, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
You're just talking and they're talking. If there's no understanding, and that's why I'm so when that came to me, I must God that and a flesh and blood revealed that to me. We were having this issue, and I said, you need to take my case and study it well,
Right.
and me need to take your case. It's not all about just talking and saying what you're saying without anger and the other person talking and saying what they're saying without anger, are you two comprehending,
Right.
really comprehending? If you were standing in their shoes, can you empathize with what they're saying and what they've experienced? Switch, like you two are lawyers because everybody's defending their case, defensive listening. Give them your case and your study notes or your case notes and take theirs. And when you do that, really read over it and you realize, yo, I understand. I really understand. When you switch cases and study the case notes, it won't get to a place where she has to be telling you as the male, you don't care about my feelings
Right.
and what I've expressed and my emotion and my emotional well-being. And then you won't have to say, well, you don't care about the logics of this or no.
And
We care
sometimes
about it, like both logic and emotional.
emotion.
It matters.
And sometimes in the heat of the moment, you can feel like you're not being heard,
Yeah.
because in the heat of the moment, you're trying to get your point across. Me, I try to get my point across. And I'm feeling like you're not understanding my point, and you're feeling like I'm not understanding your
It's not
point.
a feeling still. It's
And
usually what it is.
it's usually what it is. So sometimes you have to just blow the whistle and say, yo, time out.
Yeah.
Time out. Have some time to think about it. More you understand what me I say, and then and then if you are a defensive listener, make it worse. So yeah, just be committed to each other. Be committed to what you share. I always believe, and you believe, that people make time for what is important to them. And I always say this: if you truly value your relationship, you will do everything in your power to make sure that it works.
Yeah.
And it cannot be one-sided, because
jeopardize it.
one hand can't clap.
Yeah, you won't jeopardize
So if
it.
you are willing and you value it, you need to ensure that the partner, that your partner values it the same, and understand that it's a teamwork. And on me, I pay all of the bills and I broke my back while you sit down and cock up one couch and I accept getting them KFC and beef and cheese patty. No, and I say it work. It's a teamwork. And especially in this day and age, like, one hand just can't clap. One hand cannot clap. It takes two to tango. And the same way it takes two to tango, it takes two to takes, my wife correct me, it takes two to tango. A tango me did know, because Pat when me hear this, So I've never heard the English version of it. But it takes two to tango. And the same way it takes two to tango, two people it take to resolve the relationship just the same. Both individuals have to have that willingness. Both individuals have to be committed. And as I said, you want to communicate those boundaries as early as possible. As you meet the girl, for the guys, for the guys, as you meet the girl, and she say, I like you too, I want to get to know you. I like you and I want to get to know you. You make sure so you lay it out on the table. Right? You lay it out on the table and you let her know that, hey, definitely want to pursue this with you, but here's where I stand. These are my expectations for my partner. Let me know if you can work with it. If not, I fully understand, completely understand, and move forward.
And for the women, a lot of times, a lot of women will say, some women will say, their boundary is no sex before marriage, or no sex, and they're going to stand on business. I think one of the things that we need to start doing as women is having that boundary within ourselves as well, and men too. There are men out there that are saying no sex before marriage, and they've established that, they've said it out loud, but they have not set boundaries for themselves in order to be successful in not crossing that line. Does that make sense?
Right.
So set your boundaries, establish your boundaries with the other person, but establish your boundaries with yourself as well, and create an environment for you to successfully stay within those perimeters.
Yeah. And finally, men, I'm tired to talk about this still. I know say at this point I sound like a scratch record, but do not allow any woman to tell you that your boundaries that you have set for yourself, the standards that you have set for yourself, is your insecurity. No, brother. Understand? That's not insecurity. You have a right to have values. You have a right to have certain expectations of the woman that you're going to date for the long term. And if she cannot fit within those boundaries, if she cannot fulfill those expectations, just let her be. And I share the same when it comes to women. If the guy cannot fulfill those expectations, the boundaries that you have set for yourself, then just let him go. If a sex him want, and you're not ready for sex, make him go on. And if him not gonna respect you, if he won't respect you for who you are. And I'm not talk about no fairy tale kind of boundary where you want to go nyam up a Malibu. Where you want to go a big restaurant up a Malibu and all of these things, and you expect that the guy
That's
will
not
just
a boundary. That's almost like a
oh, some women have that's a boundary for some women.
Boundary
for some women.
So that's a boundary. That's a really defined boundary in my head, I know.
No, but that's some women. There are certain expectations that they have when it comes to a man.
Okay.
Remember, expectations are your boundaries, is what you expect from your partner, the limits that you're willing to go. Right?
So you don't want nothing else but Malibu.
You don't want nothing else but Malibu. That is the boundary that you have set for yourself as a woman. If the guy can't carry you up on a date at Malibu,
babes.
A lily boo, yeah, go. A lily boo, yeah, go about Malibu. Oh Malibu in a kitchen. I'm joking.
You better carry go Malibu. Guys.
No,
guys.
All right, babe, don't worry yourself. Me, I carry go Malibu. We're going to go, what them call it, Cheesecake Factory.
Me no want to go to Cheesecake Factory.
I'm joking. But yeah, some girls have some ridiculous expectations and boundaries that they have set for themselves. And as I said, guys, if you can't fulfill it, just lower B.
There's a man out there that can take you to Malibu. So if that is your standard and that's your requirement, boo do you. Boo do you. It's nice to go to Malibu, right?
Kudos to you, but yeah. And babe, I'll just allow you to close off.
Yes. And of course, guys, we are not in any way perfect. But we found that setting these boundaries has really helped our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
What boundaries have you set in your relationship? Or if you're not in a relationship, what personal boundaries have you set with yourself to achieve success in your life, in your personal life? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, if you enjoyed this content, please subscribe to our channel. We'd love to have you here. We share a lot about relationship. That's what Unfiltered Heart Talks is all about, relationship. So if you like what you heard today, please consider subscribing to Unfiltered Heart Talks Podcast with the Dawkins.